96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning, and it's time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yo, Patrick, what is up, man? We got a lot of stuff from the hardwood to talk about, right? A lot of basketball news going on. We got the Olympics coming up in Paris. We got NBA Summer League. NBA free agency just happened. It was nuts, so we got to get caught up on a lot of basketball. And the first thing I want to mention here, Patrick, is one of our guys here from the IE, Kawhi Leonard from King High School out of Riverside, was on Team USA and just recently, kind of at the 11th hour, deciding to not play for USA at the Olympics. He had knee issues. Remember, he's had a lot of injuries, but he had knee issues at the end of last season for the Clippers. They got to the playoffs. He's tried to play through the playoffs, and he actually sat out of the Clippers playoff game. So long story short, he is not going to play for Team USA because apparently he just needs the rest. I mean, he cannot take the wear and tear, obviously, of a long basketball season.
Not a great feeling on the status of his knee if you were a Clipper fan.
No, not good at all. I mean, because everything leading up to it, and because, listen, Kawhi doesn't talk very much, but he was doing a little bit of interviews and said, yeah, I'm actually feeling really good. Like, the knee's holding up. Nothing's going bad. I'm excited to, represent the red, white, and blue. And all of a sudden it's like, nope, he's off the team. So, and Ty Lue is an assistant coach with Team USA. He's the Clippers head coach. So, he had to have some influence on, hey, Kawhi, listen, I know you want to play for United States and go to the Olympics, but we really, really need you to be ready for next season. It's probably what they're talking about. I mean, they lost Paul George. I know they're bringing back James Harden, but Paul George walked. He's going to Philadelphia. So it's not the same Clippers team, and they might rely even more on Kawhi for next year.
And it could be. And then also, I was hearing about Paul George. I don't know Jaylen Brown, if you heard about this story. Grant Hill was kind of talking about it in that, and this is funny, this is something that came up even with the Dream Team, is that Michael was a Nike athlete. And a lot of people are wondering, why did the finals MVP not end up on Team USA? And Grant Hill alluded to it a little bit. He said, I think because there's a little bit going on here because he's a Nike athlete, and there's a little bit of a bias against that.
You know what? We know this. Money talks, right? Like we would be dumb not to think that, money and, sponsorships and all those sorts of things, it's got to play some role in that selection process, somewhere along the line.
Right. I mean, remember when Michael, the Team USA was sponsored by Reebok.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm a Nike athlete. And he outsmarted them by putting the American flag around his neck. And the flag blocked the Reebok logo. Yeah, smart, huh?
Yeah, a long time ago, Reebok was super popular during the 90s with the Reebok pumps, and they had a ton of, commercials. They were heavy in baseball with cleats. I remember those days, Patrick.
Yeah, oh yeah. D. Brown winning the dunk contest.
Yes.
But first he had to pump up the pump.
Yes, yeah, I had the Dominique Wilkins. I think they were called the Omni Zones, if I remember correctly. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so Team USA, very interesting layer there with our guy Kawhi and picking that team. But they did have an exhibition last night in Las Vegas against Team Canada. Canada's actually pretty good. There's a lot of NBA guys right now from out of Canada, and it was kind of close. In fact, if you ask me, probably a little too close for this, dream team they're calling it, with LeBron and Steph and KD and all those guys. But we did win 86-72 in this exhibition. So I don't know if you had a chance to see any of it. Kind of underwhelming.
I didn't see it, but I did hear about it, and I blame Canada getting so good on Vince Carter for being awesome for the Raptors and really influencing those Toronto kids.
Yeah, because I saw that Canadian roster, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are pretty good. This is no slouch. I mean, I remember back in the day when Steve Nash was, or, Vince Carter, there was only, Vince Carter played for the Raptors, but there was only certain guys from out of Canada that you could actually name. But this Canadian, Olympic team, I was like, these guys are legit. These guys are pretty good. So, I mean, yeah. USA did win, but I watched most of the game, and it was not super impressive, but I know this is an elite NBA team, and these guys are trying to figure out how to play with one another. That's why they have these exhibition games, so I'm not putting a whole lot of weight on it quite yet.
Right.
And they're going to play, they got more exhibition games. So they're going to play Australia coming up on Monday in Abu Dhabi. It's like a world tour for Team USA before the Paris Olympics begin.
Nice little vacation for Team USA.
Right? A little bit to see the world. And I think they're going to be in like England, like London before the Olympics to play a couple more. So that world tour continues as Team USA tries to get all on the same page, right? Gel there. And
Yes.
Patrick, so we got the Olympic basketball stuff happening. We also have NBA Summer League going down right now as well. And, of course, all eyes on Bronny James and the Lakers. He's only played in 2 games. In fact, he played in one last night. He only had 3 points. I think he had 2 points in his first game. And people are acting like they're shocked. And, you know, it's not fair. Like, people with these false, you know, hopes on Bronny, like he was supposed to be good. Like, it's not his fault. Like, all these people were hyping him up for, I don't know why. So I'm not mad at him. It's like these people who just could not see or tell the truth.
Yes, people hate nepotism, but look, man, for holding up the NBA for the last 20 years, they're doing LeBron a solid. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, obviously after 2 games, you know, some people, you know, again, maybe it's these people giving false hope, but you know, some people are like, man, he's showing some flashes, some glimpses, like he belongs. And if you read other headlines, it's like he's taking up a roster spot that some other guy would love to be there and try to win a spot in the NBA. Like he's just taking up room. And I think he even started in the 2 games that he played. So I'm not mad at him. It's everyone around him who's trying to hype him up and make him out that something he's not. So
very like Michael Jordan with baseball feeling.
Yes, right? I mean, you know, which is still crazy. I could go on and on about, you know, Michael Jordan leaving in his prime to go be a minor league baseball player, but he did it. But everyone knew the expectation. It was kind of like, you know, Tim Tebow trying to revisit baseball late in his career, you know, and I think he got to AAA with the New York Mets. But everyone knew, like, he hadn't played baseball since high school. Like, the expectation was, this is a long shot, but they're going to give him a chance. So I guess it's similar in that way.
Right.
So, all right, speaking of baseball, let's talk some baseball, Patrick. The Dodgers and Phillies have this huge series going on right now. 2 best teams in the National League. In fact, you can make a claim that the Philadelphia Phillies are the best team in all of baseball. They beat the Dodgers 4-3 yesterday, and Philadelphia is the first Major League Baseball team to get to 60 wins this season. They look like one of the front runners for that World Series title.
Yeah, remember they started out hot, and we thought, oh, maybe this is just, you know, a streak thing. But like you said, they've already shown that they're hanging in there, so we'll have to see. I see a little showdown happening. That's why this has kind of got a lot of hype.
No, you're exactly right, because I think, you know, Atlanta's still going to be there at the end. Atlanta's still good. There's always a surprise team. We saw Arizona come, I'd say, from out of nowhere last season to get to the World Series. So you just, you know, you can't pencil in the Dodgers and the Phillies, but you sure feel like you can pencil in the Dodgers and the Phillies for having a huge, you know, playoff series coming up. And right now they're going to play again today, but Philadelphia coming up with a big win yesterday. And now, first team to 60 wins on the season. So they're on a huge pace to blast through 100 wins on the year.
Which is a ton of wins in baseball.
Yes,
we all know that.
Absolutely. And then on the flip side, finally here, Patrick, the Angels are hoping to get Mike Trout back in the lineup, he says, by the end of July. So that's sooner than later. Like, not, you know, we're going into the All-Star break here, and then Mike Trout might rejoin the Angels maybe in 2 weeks or so.
Right, which is kind of a win for the Angels because, you know, the Angels are struggling. Of course, they could use a little spark. It's one of the things, at least when you go to an Angel game, you can watch Mike Trout. So at least we can look forward to that.
You know what? He's going to put butts in the seats, as they would say, right? Everyone wants to go out and see Mike Trout trying to come back from that torn meniscus. He had that knee injury. And if he can come back for the Angels, not saying like they're going to, you know, turn everything around and right the ship and make the playoffs and be a, you know, but if Mike Trout's in the lineup, people are going to go out and see Mike Trout. He's one of the best players we've ever seen. If he could just stay healthy, man, I think we all want that. Just as baseball fans, we just want him healthy and on the field.
We can get back to the sitcom name that we love, Mike and the Kids.
Yes. And it truly is. It's a bunch of guys. It's like, oh, I haven't heard of him before. And Mike Trout.
Mike and the Kids could be back, man. And you know who else will be back? Our guy, Pep, on Monday. We'll have more to talk about. Pep, tell him how to get your stuff.
Yeah, tracking all this basketball stuff, man. It's crazy out there. Get my stuff on Inland Sports. You can find Inland Sports, Twitter, on Instagrams. Still do Facebook a little bit, but we go heavy on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Follow us. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.